Ron Spomer's come to West Texas after the diminutive Carmen Mountain deer on this Winchester's Whitetail Revolution.
They're gonna come right down here in the open. Which one was it?
I think it was that big buck.
That big heavy
the
one?
big one.
Yeah, all right. That's the same area he was in the other day. Steve said, Ron, it's a 4x4. I thought you wanted a 5x5.
I just saw him get up right there. He's one of that tree right there. Right, it's right there. There we go. Now. Holy cow.
Whitetail expert Ron Spomer's heard that good things come in small packages, and after a lifetime of whitetail hunting, he's after one of the smallest but most special. He's heading for a hunt with Steve Jones of Backcountry Hunts in the rugged high country of West Texas, where the Carmen Mountain whitetail, no bigger than some African gazelles, is found.
Wow, neat country this is. What are we, 5,500 feet up? Grasslands and yucca plants and a few cedars and mountains poking up all over. This is my kind of country.
There are two kind of offbeat subspecies of whitetail that really attract hunters. And one of them is the Coues deer, the Cows deer of the Southwest. But you know, that deer's got a cousin that is starting to attract a lot of attention, and that's the Carmen Mountain deer that is found in West Texas.
So you know these Carmen Mountain whitetails pretty well.
We have a pretty good feel for them. We've hunted these deer for a number of years now. We know where to look for them, and that's the key to it. It's very much a spotting, stalking, looking for deer.
Well, do you want to start today?
I'd love to hunt this afternoon.
I would too. I think we're ready.
I'd like for everybody to know that when you come on a hunt out here in West Texas, hunt these deer, it's very much a hunt.
There's not a big abundance of deer here. They're really pretty sparsely scattered across this big landscape. So you do need to cover a lot of country, glass a lot of draws and hillsides to find a deer.
An afternoon of glassing turns up Aoudad sheep and Carmen Mountain does. The next morning, though, the little whitetail bucks begin to reveal themselves.
That's a start right there.
Nice short shot 5 points on that side.
Oh, I can see him turn his head now, yeah.
Yeah, so what he did was he just grew 4 on the left side. So what do you figure the spread is, ear tip to ear tip?
That little buck right there is probably 12 inches or so.
Pound for pound, the Carmen Mountain deer carries every bit as impressive a rack as the twice as big average whitetail. At 14 or 15 inches, the spread of a mature Carmen's buck rack is the equivalent of a 24 or 25-inch spread on a northern deer. And while the Carmen deer's mountainous range in southwest Texas and northern Mexico looks inhospitable, it's actually rich in the feed and cover the deer needs.
Hey, I got another one. I really do. I don't want a fawn. Oh, there's a buck coming out of the tree. Okay, look, I'll go up this canyon. You see the rock wall? Just underneath it, there's a cedar with a dead chunk, a real big dead branch coming up by that cedar.
Okay,
And then there's an open slope right below it. Just go there.
Okay.
That's where they're coming down. They came right out from behind that cedar.
Oh, I see the does now.
They're coming right down this canyon. They're gonna come right down here in the open. It's how big is he though? He's not very big, see? He's high.
I don't think he's not a sugar buck.
Not worth
But he's a nice buck. I mean, he's just...
I want to get some pictures. I'm going to go get my camera. And if they come right down here, I can get some good shots. Would have been an easy 150, 175-yard shot. Might have been even a little closer. But by then, I had already decided that this buck wasn't the big guy I was looking for. See a deer, don't want to shoot him, grab a camera, do some wildlife photography. And they came right down in front of us.
Not only is Ron familiar with the wildlife photography, but outdoor writing as well. He's written for just about every outdoor magazine of consequence in the U.S.
Yeah, that's neat. You see how he runs with his tail straight up? That's what I noticed the first time I ever saw these about 10 years ago when I was back in this country. That's what got me excited about figuring out more about them.
Could they survive in Saskatchewan? But no, but a Saskatchewan buck can't survive down there either. You know, so, yeah, but they have the same characteristics, you know. They got ears, they got eyes, they can smell. They play all their senses at the same time. And if you're gonna go hunt them, you gotta learn to play your senses too.
Ahead, Ron and Steve decide where the buck stops.
Steve said, Ron, it's a 4x4. I thought you wanted a 5x5.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Cold Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. Redfield, the soul of the American hunter. And by Browning, the best there is. December in the mountains of West Texas. Winchester's Whitetail Revolution's Ron Spomer is out with Steve Jones of Backcountry Hunts. This may be Spomer's first hunt for the diminutive Carmen Mountain deer, but it's not his first time at the Whitetail Rodeo.
I like to think that I can provide a little bit of information about why I'm doing things and why it works. You know, I'm certainly not the expert, but I've been at it for 40-some years, and I picked a few things up. But more importantly, I think what I would like people to understand is that the joy of being out there and interacting with nature. It doesn't matter if we shoot a big buck or no buck at all, or a doe for the meat. Get out there, do your own thing, contribute, and help not just restore but maintain wildlife populations and our freedom to use them.
And Spomer's walking the walk as well as talking the talk.
Very much a spot and stock kind of hunt. A guy needs to be ready to sit and look and glass, but it's a lot of fun because you are moving along a good bit, and as you move, you can see different country, and you just never know what you're going to see. You see mule deer, you see whitetail, you see aoudad, you see javelina. So there's a lot to see other than just the little Del Carmen deer.
And of course, Steve is an accomplished Carmen Mountain whitetail deer hunter because he's been down in this dry country for so long, hunting so many different animals. You know, you look at, you think it's open country and you ought to be able to see them pretty easily, but then when you think there could be one bedded under any tree out there, holy mackerel, there are trees everywhere. You are looking at a mature oak forest. These Lilliputian live oaks can hang on in this dry Chihuahuan desert environment by staying high up in the mountain where there's more rainfall, more water.
This is what they browse on, the acorns that fall on the ground. This is the best habitat for them.
So it really has everything they need.
Right here.
Look for oaks and you'll find the Carmen Mountain whitetail.
That's right.
Oaks might be the key component on this hunt, but every place has its own pattern parameters. David Morris explains on this Tecomate trophy tip.
Hi, I'm David Morris, and I want to talk to you today about patterning deer. When I start my hunt, I want to know what those deer are doing, and in order to know that, there's several things that I have to find out about or know about. One is, what are the major food sources in that area, because you can guarantee that's where the deer are going to be concentrated. Two is, where are we relative to the rut? Has a huge impact on the behavior of those deer. What are they doing? The other thing is the topography. What are the deer patterns of movement across that land? Pattern the deer before you ever start. Use your head because your mind is your greatest weapon against those smart big whitetails.
To continue this and other conversations with David, go to tecomate.com.
Well, we had a chance to take a really nice 8-point.
When I first saw that buck, I immediately thought this is a shooter buck. Nice buck. Come on, you open. And that buck, he was awfully good looking deer. I mean, heavy antlers, good 4x4, but we had sort of set our sights on finding a 5x5 and we didn't want to rush it.
He's just feeding in there.
Early in the hunt, you don't want to shoot the first one, but boy, this one was tough to pass up. But pass him we did.
So we went on by him, and as we're walking off, we're all going, you know, was that really a great decision or not? We all say, well, let's bank him for the hunt for tomorrow, and how many times have we banked deer or game or whatever that we'll come back and can't find him, but and we hunted and looked, and we quite frankly didn't find another one. We saw a real nice 8-point that was pretty heavy, but they just didn't, you know, trip our trigger.
The next morning when Steve said, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go back to that same valley where we saw that big 4x4.
You know, so, you know, if you want to, let's get out right here and walk around this hill and look back in this canyon here and see if we can.
That's the valley he was in, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's kind of cruise back in that part of the world, take a look, and on the way over we found a couple of unique looking deer.
We again saw a buck bedded under a tree, not too big. Saw another buck feeding on a tree, nice, not too big. And while we're watching, we're thinking this is a darn good area. We're finding a lot of bucks in here.
And here we are in that area where that 8 was. Right there, Ron, right there. I just saw him get up right there. He's below that tree right there. Look, it's right there.
Where?
Right there, right there. See, you're right there, right straight across from us. He just stepped over. He just stepped over there.
I never saw him.
He wasn't spooked at all.
Which one was it?
I think it was that big buck.
That big
That
heavy one?
big one, yeah.
Oh, right. That's the same area he was in the other day. Look, we could just go to that slope if we go to that ridge. That's only 250, 300 yards maybe across that. If we have to shoot, let's just do that.
I think we can do it.
Because the wind's like this. It'll be good on the wind.
It's perfect.
Oh, let's go get him.
Okay,
You found him again, huh?
That's cool.
That's why they call you a guide. We're walking through, looking into these different basins and valleys. We see the big one.
We hadn't gone another couple of 100 yards, and there he was. Hey, Ron, come here. Ron, come here.
You got him?
Come here. There he is, right here. We got him. He's right there in that bush right there.
I immediately wanted to go after this deer. The antlers were so much heavier and thicker than the other bucks we'd been seeing.
The spotting's done, the stalking begins on Winchester's Whitetail Revolution.
Let's get a spot right in here.
Let him stick these up. He's gonna run those does.
Oh, stop. What's he doing?
Rugged West Texas is perfect habitat for the Carmen Mountain whitetail. Now, Winchester Whitetail Revolution's Ron Spomer and guide Steve Jones have a rendezvous with a 4x4.
Most of these whitetail pop up in unexpected places, but we glass as we go, stopping frequently, looking over little suspicious areas till we find game, then the game is on.
Hey, Ron, come here. Ron, come here.
You got him?
Come here. He's right here. We got him. He's right there in that bush right there.
See that white spot?
Yep, that's him.
Huh. That's easy to spot now with the sun move.
Get just a little bit of tan right in there, but that's him right there.
Yeah, looks like it. Gray spot.
Yeah.
It's just like the right color for a deer.
He just rolled his head back.
Did he?
Yeah, just rolled his head back.
All I can tell is it's got the right color
Yeah.
and the right shape, and nothing else under there should be like
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's just laid out in there like.
Oh yeah. Right
No wonder,
under that
that's
oak
why
tree.
they're so hard to find. I mean, look where he's at. I mean,
Well, how many of those trees are out here?
Yeah.
He could be under any one of them.
it's all about optics. Looking and looking for just a small part of that deer. There was no way we could see all of him, but just luckily, through enough looking, we found that buck laying down underneath that oak tree. All these trees have this canopy that hangs over it. And he's just up under that canopy.
But the classic bedding site, he's on this downwind slope, so anything comes over the top, cougar comes, he's gonna smell it.
Yep.
If she comes up from the bottom, he's gonna see it. Is he gonna see us?
Yeah.
What's that rangefinder saying?
Okay. I got him at 266 yards right now, and if we can knock off 100 yards, it would be fantastic.
And get out of this wind. It's 'cause
Yeah.
we're right on top of the ridge where it's the windiest. I think down where he is, it's looking pretty calm. Now the hunt is really on, and this is the part that's so much fun. You know you have a good deer in your area. You've got to find him and get the drop on him before he figures you out and gets the heck out of Dodge. So we're easing our way through the trees, trying to look back on the slope that we found most of these bucks on.
Look right here. Let's just sit right over there and set up.
Yeah, that's a nice open slope. Let's get under these little oak trees and get over there.
Put your back right up against those rocks. Yeah. Let's get a spot right in here. It was a lot of fun to sit there at, as it turned out, to 188 yards and watch this buck just kind of be a whitetail.
Oh, he's really a nice buck.
We're just kind of sitting there watching and waiting and just kind of watching the world go by. All of a sudden we hear what we think is a coyote or a bobcat or something squalling, and we're just kind of looking around. What is this? Hey, look over here. Look, two does over there coming in. You see, look at the does.
Hey, they're gonna wake him up.
How do they do that? We'll go right to him.
They're going right to him. Holy mackerel, what's he doing?
There he goes, he's going to the does. And of all of the country we have here, these two doe ran right to that buck. He just got up. He just got up. He's up. He's up.
And instead of interacting the way you would expect a rut buck to interact with those does, he acted like some territorial buck chasing off other bucks. Coming out.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, he's running them.
He's gonna run those does.
Oh, stop. What's he doing?
I don't know. Look.
He's behind that cedar tree.
Yeah.
Not coming out.
I don't see him anymore, but the does are gone. Do you see him?
No, he got behind that cedar tree and that big oak tree, and he hasn't come out.
No, I don't see him right now. I don't see him. We're not sure of where he's gone and what he's doing, and here we've already got 2 hours invested in just sitting there watching this deer, and now we think he's just ran off and we never got a shot.
Well, let's just keep watching. He's either going to follow those does or maybe he's just standing there watching them. It's like he chased them away.
Yeah.
It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen in a whitetail. Bucks chasing does away. I mean, that's just my interpretation, but it's certainly the way it looked.
Now let's just see if he comes out.
As we sit there, all of a sudden, we just happened to see him come back around one of the oak trees. There he is. There he is. Look there. He's on the right-hand side of that oak. He's on the right-hand side of that oak right there.
I got him. He's feeding on the oak tree again.
Yeah. And as he comes back around the tree, we can tell that, well, you know, Ron's about to get a shot now.
He's just feeding on that oak tree.
Yep. He's coming down the hill a little bit. When he gets out in that grass out there.
Right behind that cedar. I got too much cedar in the way. I could have shot, but let's let him get in the open here.
As he comes down, I'm going to blow this grunt tube. It was like he had run these does off, and now he's going to go back to bed. He's literally going right back to the same spot that he was laying down in. And I stood there and had the call and called to him. Ron, I'm going to blow the grunt tube, see if I can stop him.
I don't think he'll hear you in this wind.
I don't know. Let's try it. Let me try it. You ready?
Okay.
Didn't faze him a bit. Ron literally hollered at this deer.
Not. Better yell at him. Hey! Hey!
Let him come.
Hey! Hey! There we go.
Now.
You ready?
Get him now. Holy cow.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Cold Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. Redfield, the soul of the American hunter. And by Browning, the best there is. In West Texas, Ron Spomer and guide Steve Jones are unraveling the puzzle of the Elfin Carmen Mountain whitetail deer.
He's literally going right back to the same spot that he was laying down in. Ron, I'm going to blow the grunt tube, see if I can stop him.
I don't think he'll hear you in this wind.
I don't know. Let's try it. Let me try it. You ready?
Okay.
Finally, this deer comes around. As he comes down, stops, and there again, we holler at him, and Ron hollers at him, and he stops.
Not. Better yell at him. Hey! Hey!
Let him come.
Hey! Hey! There we go.
Now.
You ready?
Get him now. Holy cow. He shoots that 243 and that deer goes down like you can't imagine. I mean, you talk about bullet placement, that was it.
I like my meat. Venison is outstanding. I don't want to ruin any of it, so I generally look for that broadside shot behind the shoulder, so I'm only hitting a couple of ribs. You do that with a fairly light, fast-moving bullet like that 243, and you can get some pretty explosive action. And that results in what we always want as hunters, which is a quick, humane kill.
Man, what a shot.
Oh, that's
good shot.
great.
Good shot,
that's
man.
That 243. I told you, I love that 243.
Good.
That's the perfect size rifle for these deer. People shoot whitetails all the time with 243s. It's a great deer rifle. And for this tiny deer, it's more than adequate. I think it's just about perfect.
What made those does come right to? Something scared them down there. I heard some squalling like, I mean, it was rah, rah, like somebody was blowing a predator call over there.
Yeah, it was.
And then what's actually really wild is the fact that that buck chased them away. Why would a buck chase girls away? Did you used to do that?
No.
I never did that.
If he would have been interested in those does for the usual autumn reasons, he would have kept following them, trailing them along the ground. Instead, he just came back, started feeding a little bit on an oak tree, and was headed right back to his bed when we stopped him and shot him.
There you go. There you go.
I've only seen about 7 Carmen Mountain whitetails in my life, but that's the best one.
Yeah, that's a good deer. That really is a good deer. Most people, and still to this day, don't know or don't understand the little Del Carmen deer. They're starting to kind of catch on a little bit now, but they're just a little deer that's very much a specialty deer.
And I am going to help you carry him out by scouting the trail for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's the least I can do.
Let's go down there and take a look. I'm
All right,
excited.
listen, this rifle is completely unloaded.
Okay.
Nothing in there, so we're safe to go stumbling down these rocks.
Okay.
You got your water?
I'm going to get my water.
Okay.
I'm thirsty already, and I just got started.
Look at the size of that little thing. It's like a little fawn. That's a half-grown fawn size. What do you think that weighs?
Oh, he's a 100-pounder. You know, everybody always wants to hunt that big, gnarly Kansas deer, Alberta deer, but these are totally different, more like a Coues deer, little desert deer, very different type of hunting than what you think of as Texas hunting.
Just a perfectly balanced little deer.
Yeah, that's right.
Gosh,
Very petite
and-
little deer. Yeah. I like the mass on him. Really got some, carries his mass out. Just everything about him just heavy.
Look at this little curl in
Yeah.
here on the, both of them, both the eye guards curl in. That is cool. Oh, that
Really
is a
good.
Beautiful deer.
Really good.
This hunt was so much fun. I can't believe how neat these little guys are.
Just always have a great time with Steve. He knows the country, he knows the game, he knows his hunters, and he knows how to deliver.
A guy that's looking for a rough hunt, physically rough, with the rough edges knocked off at night, with hot showers, good meals, you know, give us a call. We'd love to have you come out. Fun hunt, lots of glassing.
Yeah.
Good example of how important good optics are.
Yeah.
You gotta have good optics.
It's my favorite way to hunt. I
You know,
love to glass, roam country like this and just
Yep.
over the hills, see what's down in the next little valley.
Just
And
keep looking.
man,
Just keep
and then
looking.
there's another one and another one. And
Why don't I go down and get the mule and we'll get him packed out of here? I'll do that. We'll go
get
do
a
that.
knife and get started on
Okay.
it. What a trip, Steve. This was more fun than I even thought it was going to be. Don't bite me, Buster. After I feed you this nice corn. I think the little Gamble's quail could eat them. Or Montezuma quail, Harlequin quail, Mearns quail. They got more names and they've got feathers.
Hang on to your hats. You never know how he's going to drive.
Ah!